What's up, Metro? My name is Will.
And I'm Ben.
And welcome back to another episode of Numbers and Beyond, where we'll give you all our thoughts and opinions on all types of stuff. Now, let's get into baseball, man. Me and you got a chance to go to the Louisville Bats game. It was personally my first baseball game, and I'd like to say it was dope.
Yeah.
Like, that was a nice game to watch.
They played the Iowa Cubs. Now, I ain't gonna lie, when I came into it, I was kind of curious how things were gonna go. I always feel like I bring bad luck when I watch a game. It doesn't matter if it's on TV, in person, whatever it is. I always feel like I bring bad luck because every time I get in there and I'm, like, okay, we're gonna win. I don't know about you, but it seems like we always lose. So, like, sometimes I tell myself maybe I shouldn't watch because, well, it's going to go really wrong.
That only happens with my favorite teams.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I can agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when you want your favorite team to win and then you go in there and watch it. That's why I don't watch the Dolphins play. Every time I've watched them play, they lost. I promise.
Okay, that's fair. Well, they did win though. We got to go be there for the first game of that series. And they won, and not only did they won in style. I'm just saying,
9-4.
9-4, man. I'm telling you, that fifth inning was where it was at, though, right? That first couple innings was kind of rough. Like, they got some points, both sides did, but like,
no, it wasn't a lot of bat to ball. It was really just, let's see what we can do. Let's fill each other out. Right after that, yard.
Man, and
Christian Encarnacion. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I'm just saying,
we called it.
We did, exactly. We sat there, and you could feel that atmosphere change. Like, that's the thing about baseball. Like, you can almost sense when that player's coming up, and it's about to be that time. And that's exactly what it was. And after that, we just kept rolling. That was a long inning. I think we were there for a hot minute before anything even, like, it just kept going.
Yeah, that game let out, like, 2 hours to
it was like 9:30 when the game ended, and the game started at 6:30. So you're talking a 3-hour game.
It was not 9:30. It was around about 10. I remember saying it was almost 10 o'clock. It was like 9:45.
Sure, okay, yeah.
Like it was rounded about 10 because I was like, oh my gosh, we got to go.
So nevertheless, it was more than the 2 hours we anticipated, but
Way
primarily
more.
thanks to the fifth inning. Actually, it was the bottom of the fifth, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the bottom of the fifth just took forever.
But it was fun, and I feel like we went through the whole batting lineup at least once at that point, it felt like, because we had several guys getting on base, so it wasn't just, a home run.
Yeah.
We were having runs drove in, because we went from, 4-3 to 9-4 by the end of the game, so they had that one other run that the Cubs did later on. I think it was like in the 7th, if I remember correctly. But it kept rolling. It was great. It was fun.
Perfect game. Reese Hines, you ever think he'll make it back to the Reds with the performance that you saw last night?
Man, I've seen him since he's been back with the Bats, and he's had some really good games. He had a two-home run game not too long ago. That was a really good game. He's shown that he can hit. He's getting more consistent again. I think he is. I don't know if it's because he's maybe benefiting from being back in the minors, but I think he can. His abilities in the outfield are great. He's really, really good. He's been with the Reds already. He can hit. He can play.
He's just not consistency.
Yeah, it's the consistency. That's why Christian Encarnacion-Strand's back down there as well. That's why Arbaez is there. It doesn't. Consistency is an issue with the Reds in general, and that's one of the things that we struggle with, especially on ball to bat or bat to ball. I mean, it's something that we struggle with. Even though we win games, we still lose a lot of games too because we're not able to consistently do the same thing over and over.
Fair enough.
So I think Reese will go back. I can't wait, but I think it might be a little while still. Fair
enough. Recently, we had the All-Star Weekend for baseball, MLB professional. Home Run Derby was as expected. Kyle Riley took it, and everything else was, it was okay.
I feel like it went pretty much as we had thought it was going to.
Yeah, it was okay. I think they needed more sluggers in the Home Run Derby. Jazz Chisholm with 3 just doesn't cut it for me. He should have never been there. He is my favorite Yankee by far, but the man should have never been there.
He's your favorite Yankee?
Yes, by far. He's
Why
the
not
most
Aaron Judge?
entertaining to me. I feel like he just did that on purpose.
I did.
All right?
I absolutely did. I like to poke at the barrel.
I spend at least 2 or 3 minutes in our show
Every
talking
time.
about how abysmal
Every
Aaron Judge
time.
really performs to
I'm
me.
gonna
Okay,
continue doing
so
that though. It's
we're
fine.
we're not about to do this, Metro. Okay, I'm not gonna get into it today.
We are.
All right, all right.
Aaron Judge is better.
All right. What team do you think has the most potential to turn it around during the All-Star game this season? After the All-Star game this season, we're going into the postseason. You know, who's rallying up for the postseason right now? Who do you think has the most potential to be there and perform at their highest potential?
It's tough. There's a lot of different teams that have started to really amp up after the All-Star break, but I think that the Phillies might be one of those teams. They were up and down going into the All-Star weekend. They were good, don't get me wrong, but they were losing a lot of games. And I have a feeling that they're going to be one of those teams that will definitely turn it around a little bit more, and they might just be that one of those teams to beat.
No, they won't.
Okay.
And that's for several reasons.
Uh-huh.
One being they don't have the hitters. There's better hitters on pretty much every team. Like, they have probably 3, maybe 4 solid hitters that can put bat to ball and keep stuff in play. That's about it. They fight with minor teams, with teams that they should most certainly be beating, if that's the case. You know? So, regardless of the situation, I don't see the Phillies going anywhere.
Huh. Well, who do you see then?
The Cubs. We got to watch the Cubs for the World Series this year. Honestly, it's like it's needed. The Cubs are performing so well throughout the entire lineup. Even the people with no home runs really this year are performing extremely well. So let's see the Cubs. You know, they might just take the World Series. I like the Mets this year too. Honestly, the Mets. You know, after the postseason, you know, they like to cook. You know, I mean, after the All-Star game, they like to cook. So
I'm kind of feeling the Diamondbacks right now too. They are definitely they're doing. I was torn between the Phillies and the Diamondbacks, and I was watching the Diamondbacks the other day.
The Diamondbacks would have been way better in my head.
I don't know.
I don't see how you don't see that.
I don't know, but yeah, we could go about that for a minute.
I digress. I'm not about to do this.
So what about early predictions then for the World Series? Who do you think will be the 2 teams to go, and who's going to win?
Sadly, my pick is not the Dodgers.
No, okay.
My pick is not the Dodgers this year, just because we're having struggles on our lineup right now. Mm-hmm. And it's not like we're not performing. It's just we're not performing at our highest potential, which means somebody that is can definitely swoop us out from under us. Like I said, the Cubs, definitely an option.
I got the Mets going too. Honestly, they have turned that beginning of the year and around their little slump there in the middle going into the All-Star break. They've really turned it around, and I legitimately think they could be one of the teams to go. The question is going to be, are they going to make it through the playoff run to get there? But I think they can.
If it's up against the Cubs, I give them a shot. Pretty much the same team, really. I'd love to see that matchup, but I'll give you a third one, honestly, if they can pull it together. The Athletics.
Ooh.
The Athletics are performing really, really well. It's just not as well as they should be. And if they can pull it together, you know, after the break, which they performed well last night, if I'm not mistaken. So,
okay,
if they can make it, they can make it.
So your final call then for it would be, who do you say wins it? Let's just end it with
Cubs.
that. Cubs. All right, I'll take the Mets on that. And on that note, let's go to basketball. I know we're out of basketball season, but my question is, do you think the Pacers can make a return appearance and maybe even win it?
Sir. I heard you ask this question, and it's like I feel like you're the only one that does. I feel like you're the only one that thinks that they should have actually been there in the first place.
I think they should have been. The fact that they got out of the playoff teams, they definitely. Hey.
No, they shouldn't have.
Yeah,
They shouldn't have been there. They made a
I feel like
script
you have
for the finals last season. And I don't
unnecessary like hatred of the Pacers for some reason.
It's not a hatred of the Pacers. I have a hatred for mediocrity.
Mediocrity
And being rewarded. That's my problem. I have a hatred for it being rewarded as high as Halliburton was last season. Come on. How many 9-point games have you seen a point guard actually have? How many games have you seen a point guard score under 12?
I mean,
He had multiple last season.
They still got there though.
Once again, it's being praised.
He also had many games where he scored a lot more than 9 points, a lot more than 15.
Not a lot. I mean, if he scratched 20, it was a rarity. He never really scratched over 20, man. And I'm not going for it.
He did a few times. And
Just
in the
because
playoffs,
he did a few times doesn't mean...
in the playoffs, he dominated. You can say what you want, but
I will say a lot.
We could sit here and talk about the Thunder, right?
I could say a lot more.
We could sit here and talk about the Thunder all we want, and we could say they're going to go back and they're going to win it. We've already kind of discussed that. Mm-hmm. The Pacers were there too, and they went to 7 games. So can they go back, and could they possibly win it again this coming season?
Nope.
No. Man.
No,
okay.
Why
do you think that? Do you think with Halliburton being out for most of next season, do you think that's going to be the reason?
Honestly. But no.
Why?
They're not going to the ship next year. I can already call that. They shouldn't have made it this year. There was a lot of stuff in that playoff run that was questionable. And that wasn't just for the Pacers. For the Timberwolves, the Lakers, for all of them. There's a lot of stuff that was questionable leading up into the postseason and through the postseason that was very questionable on the NBA's behalf. But we're not going to get into that.
Let's talk about the Lakers.
With LeBron's last year.
Do you think it's going to be his last year?
It better be. I'm sick of seeing him, if I'm being honest. Like, can we retire you as a legend, sir? Before you stain your legacy with another loss? Please? Please. You're not getting the 5th ship, sir. Not happening.
You don't think you're going to get it this year? I don't either.
With the Lakers?
Okay, so...
With the Lakers?
I don't think you'll get it anywhere. However, I mean, now, granted, if you went to, like, let's say, Oklahoma, maybe. But even then, that'd be wild. So, what team do you think he would have to go to legitimately to get this 5th and final ship as he would, I think it would be? Because I don't think he's going to, if he won it, let's say he won it this coming year.
He'd have to play for a retirement home. That he needs to go for the geriatric championship at this point. He does not need to be in the NBA anymore. Okay? I get it. Lay longevity. Yeah. Get off the court. Your son is now 20. You were holding him in the middle of the court at one point. Like, he's now playing in abysmally, by the way, but that's neither here nor there.
Who, LeBron or his son?
Bronny. Bronny is not playing well at all.
Yeah.
But get off the court. We don't need another LeBron James. We don't need 2 LeBron Jameses being on the court at the same time. It's not really history. It's annoying. All right?
It's a fair point. There's been a relatively... Most sports, in fact, there's always been, like, it seems like a father-son thing that's happened. Even if they're not playing together, the father will pass it on. He'll leave. The son will take the spot.
At least I liked it. At least when King Griffey Jr. and King Griffey both played on the same team. It was some magic happening. Bronny is not there at all yet. There's no magic grade come from him. Not this year yet. Maybe a little bit down, further in his career. Not right now. Look at the way, on FanDuel, they had him at like plus 3,000 to score 3 points in a game. Do you know how bad you have to be for FanDuel to say, hey, man, I bet you he don't score 3. I bet you he don't get 3.
They're that confident they're willing to make that payout if they lose that one.
That was the whole bet for the beginning of the season last season.
I had a feeling Bronny wasn't going to be that great. I don't know. I think it's like a legendary thing, right? Like, your dad's LeBron. Like, I feel like, you kind of think, okay, maybe that this is just going to be, I'm going to come in and I'm going to be a natural. Like, I feel like maybe, coming into it, you're going to think in your mind, like, if he did it, like, I was trained by him, I was raised by him, like, I'm going to be just as good. as LeBron, as old pops. And I think that
As much as you should aspire to be a father, and follow in his footsteps,
basketball was not the right choice.
he's literally a king amongst the NBA. I don't like LeBron at all, and I can say that. Stop trying to follow in his footsteps and get your own, man. As soon as you do, you'll be better. I promise. That's just a fact.
Yeah, I agree with that. He needs to be able to create his own identity, and one of the things that I think is going to hurt him is if he tries to recreate what LeBron did, because you're not going to be LeBron. He may be better one day than LeBron. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but
down the line, he could be something spectacular.
He might go get the 5 rings. Who knows? Doubtful. Never. Probably going to ever happen. But
but
he'll still never be better than Michael Jordan. That's for sure.
Well, there's nobody better than the GOATs.
Indeed.
He's not my GOAT, but R.I.P. Kobe. But as LeBron, third place for sure. He definitely gets a king vote. He just doesn't get the first place king vote.
So back to the question then, if there was a team that he needed to go to win this final championship, as it were.
No one. I don't want to see LeBron this year.
If he had to go to the team, who would it be? Come on. Give me a team. Where does LeBron go to win it all? One more time.
He would need maybe the Warriors. Him and Curry would be an interesting matchup. I would give maybe the Warriors. Him and Curry would be a matchup, and let's say the Thunder. Even though I don't want him to taint another one of my teams, I don't want him to I don't want him donning that jersey.
So I got
him in the Celtics would be a nice one too. But those are the only teams that would actually make it next year in my eyes right now.
What if he went back to Cleveland?
Can we move on? Because I can't.
Yeah.
No. Okay. No, LeBron, just retire, bro. You got all the stature and all the glory that you need. Retire.
There's nobody gonna.
I don't want to see you on the Cavaliers, the Lakers, the Thunder, nor the Celtics. He just made me answer that question.
I did.
Retire.
Like I said, I like to poke the bear sometimes. It's kind of fun.
Retire.
See, I know the things that get you a little riled up, so I like to get it going sometimes.
Yeah, because they're annoying and it doesn't make sense. And people love to try to make LeBron being in the NBA for the next 5 years make sense.
It can't.
It does not.
Would that make him like the oldest sports player in general?
Yes, it would.
I feel like he'd have to be like
nobody plays into their 50s.
This is true. I can't think of any sport offhand.
You're usually well retired by the time you're in your 50s. This man is approaching his 50s. You guys.
Wild.
50s.
Wild.
We're not doing this anymore. Okay?
I will say this though, not for his abilities, but like the fact that he can still keep doing what he's been doing at his age is somewhat impressive. Like, you look at Tom Brady, he was relatively old when he retired, right? But like, he wasn't playing constantly. He'd play only one side of the ball. So he got his breather. Well, LeBron kind of, when he's on the court, he's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I will give it to him to continue to perform at the level that he's at. It is remarkable. Granted, it's time to go.
Let's move on. We got football coming up in a month, and I'm by far more excited about football starting than anybody, I feel. So
I mean, I love me some football.
Love me some football, man.
So, what team do you think has showed the most improvement so far this year and will continue to show improvement through the year?
I'm going to say this again. I think I've been said it for the last 3 weeks. Y'all better watch them Bengals, man.
Why?
The approach that they was making towards the end of the season last year and the steps that they've taken to secure their players during the offseason this year, y'all better watch them Bengals, man. Jamar Chase, I got him for a touchdown every game. It doesn't matter which game it is. I'm going to keep on going until he actually lets me down. And he won't. I have no chance. I have no chance of failure. Y'all better watch them Bengals, man.
I mean, I think the Bengals have a good chance to make a push for it this year. However, I don't think they're gonna be that team. Now, I will say though, in regards to improvement, they are one of the better teams. But as much as I hate to say this, I think another team that's made a lot of really good improvements, and I think they're targeting specific positions, is the Cowboys. Look, I'm not a Cowboys fan at all. Okay, I'm not.
Nobody should be.
Nobody should be, really.
Did you see how they played last season?
I did, but you also got to think what they've done to change it. And some of the things I think they're doing, especially adding Pickens in at wide receiver, is going to make a huge difference. Dak Prescott
doesn't make a difference when Dak was one of the main problems last year.
Well,
did y'all improve him? He was one of the main problems last year. It wasn't the receivers. CD would be open, and Dak still wasn't hitting him.
Well,
we watched multiple games where that happened.
It's not just as simple as Dak not being able to hit it. That offensive line last year was surprisingly a letdown, and they've also boosted that too.
I agree.
Think that this is going to be,
but Dak.
I don't think they're
is
going to
the main problem.
Dak is
okay. Here, let's put it like this: the Chiefs had the exact same problem last year. Last year, it was the reason they didn't cover spreads, even though they were pretty much undefeated. The reason they didn't cover spreads or perform as well is because of their offensive line. But guess what? They were winning games. Mahomes was still hitting targets. Dak is the problem. In my eyes.
But we're not talking about who's going to win a Super Bowl. We're talking about teams that are improving a lot, and what I think will make these improvements that'll make an actual difference in their year. Doesn't mean I'm saying that it's a Super Bowl team. I mean, I would sit here and say all day Green Bay's going to win the Super Bowl, but I mean, let's be clear. That window has somewhat closed. Now, it could reopen.
You're delusional.
No, it's not delusional. We did go to the playoffs. Delusional. We're not delusional. We lost to the Eagles, and the Eagles won the Super Bowl. So I beg to differ. But see, I don't look at the Chiefs because they went to the Super Bowl. I don't look at the Eagles for improvements because they won the Super Bowl. So those two teams went to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to look at them and say, okay, they've improved, because at the end of the day, well, the Chiefs just took a hit with Rasheed Rice anyway. That's going to hurt. But I don't count teams like that to be most improved or have a big improvement that's going to make a huge difference on their year, because really, at the end of the day, the only difference on their year is they go down, right? Because they already were at the top. The only difference is the Chiefs could just, again, win another Super Bowl. But if we're looking at other teams that'll have huge impacts and that we see getting talked about a lot and who have shown some promising signs so far early on in training camp and stuff, the Cowboys is one of them. As much as I don't like them, the Commanders are there. They're doing good too. Jaden Daniels is already looking pretty clean. I don't, but... we want to talk about staying in the NFC on that. There was a video I seen online, and I'm kind of curious how this dynamic is going to play out with the Giants. I don't know. It just Scabo and Dard. They just seemed like they were in a whole different level with their personalities. But if we're talking about improvements, I'm still staying with Dallas. I think they've made the improvements that they need. I think that they're not going to get there, but I think it's going to improve their year comparatively.
We'll see. I don't like it. I don't think Dak's going to do it. I don't think CD's going to be able to do it because of Dak. I don't think that the line was the actual problem.
But when you throw Pickens in there and you have a true number 2 receiver who can draw some attention, I disagree, sir. CD might just get a little bit more productivity going. So, I mean, what team within would you say maybe would you project that would be have the hardest fall out of all of them?
Oh, the Chiefs.
The Chiefs?
The Chiefs are about to have a downpour of bad luck. I could see it last year. Look, you can't go about playing the game the way that the Chiefs did last year. Regardless of winning the games, how did you win them? That's why I'm here. You focus on those numbers, man. I'm going to focus on what they were actually doing. Playing abysmally.
I don't really disagree with you on that. I don't think they're going to have the hardest downfall. I don't think they're going to bottom out.
I think they're going to have a nice little fall, sir.
Actually, I think it's going to be the Eagles who are going to. They're going to ride off of that Super Bowl win, and they're going to come into it, and they're going to find out that repeating ain't easy for a reason.
They're definitely not going to repeat, but I don't think they're going to have a nice fall.
I definitely think they will.
I think Jalen Hurts is going to come in and do everything that he can. It's just going to be more teams that want it more. That's it. They're going to lose that drive that made them want it. Just like Patrick Mahomes did. It's not rocket science. You get up there to the top, and sometimes your belly gets full. You get a little sluggish. It happens.
My thing,
They're
though,
just not going to have the hardest fall. The Chiefs are, guaranteed.
I can't really think I agree with it though, because you got to look at what Jalen Hurts had in the Super Bowl versus what Patrick Mahomes had. Jalen Hurts had a lot more help around him, and in my opinion, the Eagles' defense was better in many ways. Clearly.
Definitely.
So if you look at this and you say, okay, let's say both teams don't make it to the Super Bowl, right? Which team is having the hardest fall? At that point, theoretically, would be the Super Bowl winner who would have the hardest fall. But my thing is, the Chiefs are Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback, and the Chiefs have better coaching and a better team overall to deal with more adversity. They've proven it year after year that even if you take away some of the best players they have, they still continue to succeed. The Eagles, however, will not. I think that the Eagles will have the hardest fall
I think
because
we both
they're going.
have a legitimate argument.
I agree. I think we do.
One.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna disagree with you on either
So
one, honestly.
what if we talk about real quick then two non-Super Bowl teams, or like a non-Super Bowl team that isn't like the Eagles or the Chiefs? Like who else?
My personal opinion, who's gonna fall?
The hardest.
If they don't get to the ship this year, the Ravens. Lamar, you only got one more year out of me.
I don't know why, but I agree with
Louisville's
you so
own.
much.
You hear me? You got one more year out of me, sir. You better get to that shit.
I don't agree so
care.
much with that part, but I do agree that they might be the team that have the hardest fall because there's a lot of expectation on them to get it together, and if they don't, it's gonna hurt because they have been close last couple years, but it ain't. Yeah, if they can't pull it together, I think the Ravens' little window is closing.
I'm no longer supporting the movement.
So
I will not support the Lamar Jackson movement if he does not make it to the ship this year.
I'm curious then about.
You ain't got to win it. Make it there, please.
I'm curious about J.J. McCarthy starting this year with the Vikings. It's his second year in the league, his first real year playing now because of his injury last year. How do you think that's going to go? He's got a really good team around him. Do you think that he will be successful? Or do you think it's going to be a rough year?
It could be. Let's see. When we're talking about the Vikings, last year they didn't do bad. If I'm being honest, I personally feel like it was Sam Darnold's fault that they didn't make it as far as they were supposed to. He as good as he he literally made rookie mistakes throughout the entire thing. You saw the games where he was just like, how are you getting up to the 5-yard line and the only person that you're targeting is Justin Jefferson? First and 10, 5-yard line, 4 passes, all to Justin Jefferson. There is a problem here. He's fully covered. There's 4 people on him, and he still threw it strictly to him. Addison's open. We got multiple people that could have caught these balls, and that's just one scenario that I'm giving out. There was multiple times where Sam Darnold just dropped the ball. So, as for J.J. McCarthy, I think, yeah, I mean, he has the team to be able to do something.
This is Justin Jefferson's third quarterback in 3 years. He had Kirk Cousins, then Sam Darnold, then J.J. McCarthy now, because we can't count last year because, obviously, of the injury. So 3 quarterbacks in 3 years. Justin Jefferson has had to make a lot of changes. I think it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. And I mean, we're not including the other guys, right? But wrapping it up, 2 quick questions. Which conference do you think will have the best overall year up to and including winning the Super Bowl, the AFC or the NFC? Who's going to be the most productive as a conference? My opinion is going to be the AFC, and I'm going to say it's going to be an AFC team that's going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I'm going to say NFC, me personally.
Okay, and last question. Which underdog do you think, if we don't talk about the mainstream names, which underdog do you think takes the Super Bowl? Let me guess. Are you going to say Miami?
Hell no.
Oh.
We got the Browns this year, baby. We're taking the Browns. Shador's going up.
Shador.
We got it going up. We
Super Bowl Browns, MVP, baby. I'll take it.
Yes,
I love
sir.
it.
Yes, sir.
And on that note,
my name is Will.
And I'm Ben.
Thank you, Metro, for tuning in to another episode of Numbers and Beyond.